Hey guys, and welcome back to your One Room Schoolhouse. If you are new here, my name is Mary Barfield, and I am a homeschooling mom to a kindergartner and a second grader. And today is the fourth and final video in my Curriculum Picks video series for 2025-2026 school year. The last video I did was the first part of our group subject picks, and this is part 2 of group subjects for my 2 kiddos. Now, if you missed that first one, I would highly recommend you go watch it. I'll leave that first part up here, link it up above. If you are interested in seeing what my rising first grader and rising third graders individual subjects are, I'll link those down below in the description box for you to go check out those individually. So in that first group subjects part 1 video, I talked about what we were doing for history, science, and geography. This video is going to be more of like the riches, the fun stuff. I don't know, not that history, I think history is super fun. I don't know why I said that because I love history, but more like the enrichment and culture pieces, I guess. So today we're going to talk about what we're doing for foreign language, nature study, and nature lore, what's going to be in our morning basket, which there's quite a lot in there, and then also what we are going to be doing for Christmas schooling in December. So if that is of interest to you, stay tuned. First up, we are going to talk about foreign language. We are at present doing homeschool languages Spanish 1, and it is going so well. We are loving it. We should be finished with this by the end of this year. We might be like save a few lessons. Actually, if there are any additional lessons, we'll do them through the summer because I don't want the girls to learn or lose anything that they've learned so far. But the plan is once we are done with this, whether it's before the school year or into next year, we will then be purchasing Spanish level 2 from Homeschool Languages. It is such a wonderful, gentle, organic, beautiful way to teach a language to a student. They go after it in a way that you would learn as a native speaker. Like how you learned your native tongue is kind of how they approach this. There's hands-on activities. There's not any writing unless you get the specific workbook that goes along with it, which I have for my oldest daughter. She's really enjoyed that workbook. It's a PDF you can print off. I will link everything down below for you guys to go check out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 thumbs up for them. We are loving it. They have level 1 and level 2 out so far, and I think based on production schedule, they should have level 3 out by the time we are ready to go into level 3. So I hope that's a thing, and I think they're going to go up to 4 levels, I think is what they told me for Spanish. And so we will stay with them as long as they keep producing them because it is going so well. My girls are learning Spanish and they can actually speak it in like real day-to-day life, which is amazing. So gonna stick with Spanish from Homeschool Languages. So talking about nature study and nature lore. So for our actual nature study, like our object lessons, which we're going to just do once a week, maybe like 15-20 minutes, we are going to follow the recommended schedule from Ambleside Online. That's not like a level specific schedule. That's just like what everybody does, no matter if you're in first grade or 12th grade. And so the schedule for next year is going to be reptiles for term 1, brooks, rivers, and oceans for term 2, and then garden flowers and weeds for term 3. Now, that's all they kind of give you for that. They're like, hey, study these things over the term. I'm somebody who needs a little bit more, this is what you should do every week. And if I don't have that, and I know that's not very Charlotte Mason, it's supposed to just happen, but like the reality is if I don't have it in place, guess what? Nature study is not happening. So I have actually created a very simplistic schedule for each term, breaking down what we're going to talk about each week for the reptiles. I've even gone to the library and done a lot of research on like additional picture books I can bring in. But for the most part, what we'll be doing is each week I'll have an object lesson that I've created in my schedule. Like it's almost like a curriculum I created, I guess. But it's really simplified, and because I don't want to overcomplicate this, but I also just need a little bit of something there. So it might include a reading from the Handbook of Nature Study, more so for me, but also for the kiddos. I might read something out about reptiles or something. But more importantly, y'all, this is like the best purchase I've ever made. This big Mac Daddy from the Smithsonian, Natural History. Get this book if you do nature study in any form. This will last us until the girls go to college. I'm using this also as one of the main spines for that. And then, like I said, I picked out a bunch of picture books and stuff that I've researched and looked through that makes sense for the study and the lesson we're trying to learn that week. And then what we'll do is we'll just do like a 10-15 minute object lesson each week. And then after that, we may do something in our nature journals for it. It might be a watercolor. My daughter drew a lizard. I think that's a lizard. What is that? An alligator. My kids are funny. That's a dinosaur. Yeah, we have some crazy stuff in here. Oh, this was one of my favorite ones. We did a little lesson from The Good and the Beautiful, Hearts and Hands. We were trying a lesson out for my neighbors have the program. They let me try it out, and it was about deciduous leaves, and so the girls did some sketching. But so after we do the object lesson, we will do most likely a nature journaling. And now that my oldest daughter is in 3rd grade, I'm gonna actually expect her to write something or label parts, or just do a short narration in here along with the drawings. Before this, we've just been doing drawings. And then I have one for my oldest, and then this is my youngest's journal. They both have space stickers on the front of the covers. I don't know how that happened. There's her leaves. So we'll do a nature journal entry, and then I plan to do a nature study on Friday. And then once we're done with that, we are going to go out into the woods and do a nature walk. We've got a lot of parks around us that we can go to that make it super easy within quick driving distance. So we'll do that. If they decide they don't want to do a nature journal entry from the object lesson, we can also just see what we find in nature and bring along our to-go water coloring palettes. They're actually super awesome. So it opens up like this. It's got trays that pop out. Here, I'll just show you the whole thing here so you can get a look at it. It's pretty messy because we've been using it. But this is a whole little setup. It's got a little tray. There's a watercolor brush that you can take to go. You put the water in it. Sea sponge, these little bits, I don't want to tip everything out. These little bits will pop out so you can put new colors in. This was the best purchase I got from Amazon. I know there's a really nice brand. I think it starts with a W, Windsor and something. I looked at theirs, the one that was like maybe just even like 6 colors, that was much smaller than this one. It had less colors. It was like $40, y'all. I think this might have been less than 15, and I was able to get both my daughters one for less than what I would have purchased that Windsor one. And the colors, the pigments are beautiful. They come through so nicely. So I'll link this down below. I've gotten a lot of questions about this when I've talked about it in other videos. And it's also got this little like thing that pops out, and you can carry it like this, like while you're walking, and you can hold, it's like a ring thing that you have for your phone. It's kind of funny. But no, like, love these. This will last us a few years. So I think it was well worth the investment, and it wasn't even that big of an investment. It's the brand Jerry Q Art. I'll link it down below. I got it off Amazon. They're great. Both my girls have one. They have their names on the backs of them. And then I've got my own little set that I got from Grabby that they sent me, and it works great too. And I've got some of those to-go watercolor pencil or pens, brushes from them too. And I have my own nature hardback book. So we're gonna have fun with nature this year. I'm excited. Okay, so for nature lore, so like readings that we're gonna do, we are going to follow the Ambleside Online Year 1 schedule for James Herriot's Treasury for Children. These stories look so pretty. My kids are so into animals. The illustrations in this book are so darling and so beautiful, and the stories look so sweet. So I think both my girls are gonna love that. We are also going to follow the Ambleside Online Year 1 recommendation for nature, and we're gonna do the Burgess Bird Book. I printed this off myself and bound it because all these are on the public domain. But what I am going to do alongside this to make it a little bit more fun and engaging, Simple Studies, I haven't purchased it yet, so it's only $5, which I think is incredible that she offers this. I'll put a picture of it here. Simple Studies offers coloring pages, and also there's poetry recommendations. There's actually a lot more in it, but I'm purchasing it mostly for the coloring pages of all the birds that are mentioned in this book. So whenever we're reading a story about, let's say the story is about a cardinal that time, I'm going to print off the coloring page from Simple Studies and give it to both my girls, and they can color their cardinal while they're learning or listening to the story about it. And then they're going to keep those, oh gosh, what did I do with it? In these binders that I made. These are their binders for next year for any printables or maps or any loose leaf that we're doing. You already saw these if you saw the first part to this group subjects story. They're going to keep it right here. So their coloring pages are going to go right here. So they've got their geography and maps for Ambleside Online, as well as geography that they're doing. They've also got ancient history ones for Story of the World. So this is going to be their like binder full of loose leaf, but they're going to keep their coloring pages in here. I might bind them into a book for them to kind of keep as a keepsake. I don't know. We'll see how much they love doing that before I get all crazy about it here. So that's it for nature study and nature lore. Now I'm going to get into what we're doing, what I consider our morning basket. There's a lot of goodness in here, y'all. I'm so excited about this. So first off, every day when we start morning basket, which we actually like to do our core subjects first, like get them done first thing, math and language arts. We do that and then we do morning basket. So once we've completed all those, we're gonna read one poem every day from the Ambleside Online Poetry Anthology Volume 1. So this would be like year 1. I absolutely love the way they set this anthology up. Could I have gotten all these poems for free on the domain? Absolutely. Was it totally worth it to have it in one book like this and have it scheduled out? Look at that, January, and then they give you enough poems to read for the school day in January. So we're gonna follow it month to month. We might do it over the summer. I don't know. We might get wild with this, y'all. So I'm kind of excited. I think it's who was in it? I think it's actually just a complete mishmash of different authors. I saw Emily Dickinson here, John Keats. I think there's a Christina G. Rossetti one, Walter de la Mare. There's a lot of good poets in this book, so I'm kind of excited about this. All we're gonna do is read it. I'll ask the girls how they felt about it, if they had any comments. If they don't, we're gonna move on. It's a super quick thing we're gonna do, but it's gonna expose them to a lot of good poetry. Next, if we have a scheduled reading from Tales from Shakespeare, we will do that then after the poetry reading. This is not every week. This is, I think we do 2 per term is the schedule. We're going to follow the Ambleside Online year 2 schedule because we're doing the year 1 schedule this year. My girls really like these. Also, I think they like it that I make puppets and they kind of act it out and like, I don't know, they have fun with it. So they're really enjoying Shakespeare so far. So I'm excited to keep going with it for next year. Then after Shakespeare, we will then read a piece of literature. So we are going to read 1 literature book per term. We're going to follow the year 2 Ambleside Online schedule with this. So our first term, we're going to be reading Understood Betsy, which I've heard really good things about this book. It's apparently really good, so I'm excited. The Wind in the Willows, which I've never read this, but apparently it's a solid classic. Like people look at me weird when I said I've never read this before, so I'm excited to read it as well. And then we will round out term 3 with The Merry Adventures of Robin Hood. And I got this one from Classic or Living Book Press. Their books are just so good. They're such good quality. Even the soft covers, I love them. So we'll be doing 1 per term. So basically it's a chapter a week. It is really minimal. It's not that much, I promise. And then along with that, because we are not doing Ambleside Online year 1 with my youngest because we're combining my girls. I talked more about this at the beginning of the last video, part 1 of this video series. So go check that out and I'll explain what's going on there. But since we are not going to be doing Ambleside Online year 1 with my youngest, I didn't want her or my oldest, frankly, because we didn't do this year, to miss out on Just So stories. This will be read over the entire year. So this will, again, we might not do a reading every week from this. It'll be pretty simple, but apparently they're pretty good stories. So we're going to be throwing those in there. Okay, and then also one more thing that we're going to be doing from a literature, but also a historical, spiritual perspective. We are going to be reading 1, maybe 2 stories, depending on the week, from the Jesus Storybook Bible. So this is a children-friendly version of the stories that surround Jesus, and they're illustrated and all that good stuff. My kids, like we're not what I would consider religious. We are spiritual. We're not fully secular, I guess is the best way to explain it. That's probably really confusing and I'm sorry. But the reality is that I grew up going to Catholic school my entire life. I know all the stories of the Bible. And just from a cultural perspective, a historical perspective, I think it's important, even if you're not religious, to know these stories. So I want my kids to understand when somebody's talking about Moses parting the seas, like they understand the reference. What is that story? So I thought this would be a really good way to introduce those stories to them and be able to talk about it and just so they understand it. So we're going to be doing 1, sometimes 2 a week, and they're super short, sweet, easy to digest. I think it'll be really good. So I'm excited to get into this with them. And then we will be doing handicrafts once a week. We've kind of failed at handicrafts this year. Maybe I just picked bad ones because the first one I picked was crocheting. The girls had the hardest time with that. Even when I switched it from the needle to like finger crocheting, they were just like, we can't figure this out. So we're gonna, park that for a little bit and maybe come back to it at a later date. And then we also did hand sewing the second term, which my oldest has really enjoyed that. My youngest is just, I think, having a hard time with it. We got her a really easy peasy kit she can use. We're going to revisit hand sewing. And then this third term that we're about to start, wool felting, I think it actually might be the easiest one. So I'll keep you posted on how that goes in my term 3 update. Cross your fingers, because I'm actually kind of excited about wool felting. I think it'll be fun. But for next year, I'm keeping it more simple and more focused on their age level. For the first term, we are actually going to be doing paper Sloyd for primary grades. The crazy thing that I didn't realize is that this isn't just used one year. If you look at the front contents, here, it says first year models. So we'll do one per week from this list. Then it says, oh wait, second year models, third year models. So you're supposed to do this starting year 1, year 2, year 3. My girls, that'll work with my youngest. My oldest will be starting this as a third grader. I'm not worried about it. It's geometry. It's really actually, it really does focus on geometry and stuff, which I actually think will work perfectly for her where she will be in math when we go over this. So if this goes well this year, we'll do year 2 and year 3 models over the next 2 years after that. So you'll see this book pop up again in my curriculum picks videos if that's the case. Now for term 2 and 3, and again, I do 3 12-week terms for a total of 36 weeks. I probably should have prefaced all my videos with that because you guys are like, what is a term, y'all? So sorry about that. We are going to be doing brushwork. This I'm going to extend over 2 terms because there is so much to it. There are, hold on, let me tell you. There are 30 lessons in this. So we're going to double up actually, probably. We're going to do like sometimes 1, sometimes 2 lessons from this a week. You can purchase this. I, again, printed it off because everything is on the domain and that there's no copyright, and I made my own little book, which saves me a ton of money, y'all. But this is going to be fun learning how to do brushwork with the girls because they're really into watercolor painting, but we haven't done any actual lessons, and I think this will really help them. And last but not least, for my morning basket, we will be doing what I call the Riches from Ambleside Online. I created this myself. You'll see the Riches. I did this all in Canva, artist study, composer study, folk songs. I sit down, do this, and I have it ready to go for the year, and then I don't have to do any prep for these subjects. I just pull this out and we go. It's amazing. So what I do in here is I follow the Ambleside Online 2025 to 2026 schedule for artist study, composer, and folk songs. And then I put it all into this notebook. So what you'll see I do here is, so here we're gonna be studying Camille Pissarro, who is a French impressionist. I find a little biography on them. I put underneath what paintings we're gonna be studying. I've gotta get the paintings printed, so I'll do that at a later date, but I get them printed on nice cardstock. We look at the paintings, the next week we recreate it. It's a really super simple way of doing it. And then I have the composer for the term, and then a little biography on them. So Frederick Delius, I'll go through these actually in a second. And then also what I do is I put the folk song lyrics in here so that when we're playing it, so I can, follow along with the lyrics. So specifically for artist, term 1, it'll be Camille Pissarro. Term 2 is Jean Fragonard. Oh man, y'all, I probably messed that up so bad. Sorry. And then term 3 for the artist will be Albert Bierstedt, I think. I might have messed that one up too. Now for composer, it'll be Frederick Delius. Term 2, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. And then term 3, Felix Mendelssohn. I think he's from Germany. Yep, I was right. And then the whole folk song schedule that you can find on Ambleside Online. The only one I've added to it, because we start school in August and they do September through June, I added Star Spangled Banner for our August folk song, just our song that we're learning, because the girls don't know it. So I'm like, we need to learn that. I feel like everybody who lives in America should learn it. It's just part of our history and our culture. So that's it. That's pretty simple. Like I said, you can get the printings, the paintings for free off of the Ambleside Online website, and then they work with a place called A Humble Place, I think is what it's called, and they will print them off for you. And I just did that last year. It was super simple. I don't know, I might try and print them off myself this year. I haven't decided yet exactly on that, but stay tuned. I'll let you know what I do there. For the composers, somebody is always gracious enough from the AO family to put together a playlist of all the composers' songs that are scheduled for this year. So I'll find that playlist, put it in my library and Spotify, and just play it every time it's time to listen to it. So super simple way to get the riches done. It's literally takes 5 minutes. So last but not least, I wanted to talk about in this video, I wanted to discuss our December homeschooling picks. So this year we decided to basically take off all of December from our normal curriculum, except for we did math and language arts the first 2 weeks of December. And then we added on some unit studies. And because those went so well the way that we did that, I'm gonna repeat that this year. So for the first week, probably 2 weeks of December, I will still have the girls do their math and their language arts. And then on top of that, for the rest, you know, from the first week of December to the last week, we will also be adding on Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets literature guide study. So we're going to read through the second Harry Potter. We did the first one this past December and it was so much fun. And this guide is, I mean, oh my gosh, there's so much amazingness in this guide. There's copy work, there's art and handwork, there's cartography, we make a map, there's vocabulary words, herbology, we study potion and alchemy, magi zoology, aka what are they called? Wizard animals, like fake, you know, what are they called? Mythical creatures. And then we also do a main lesson book with this. I mean, we had so much fun. So we are doing the second one again. There's crafts, there's baking, there's copy work. I can do a whole video on this if y'all want me to. There's just so much in this. I also did a review. I'll leave that video up here if you guys want to go check it out, of the first one that we did this past December. But as you can tell, it went so well that we're doing it with the second book, and we will continue until she stops making these or we get through the 7th book. And we're big Harry Potter fans, so it's just an amazing tradition I think we're creating for our Christmas schooling. And then the last thing that we will be doing at Christmas is we will be reading and not doing any kind of literature guide with this. This is just going to be, we are reading it at a standard pace that gets, you know, it read in 4 weeks. We are going to be reading A Little Christmas Carol. I haven't purchased it yet, so I'll put a picture here for you. It's a more gentle, like kid-friendly version. It's anthropomorphic, so all the characters are animals. The girls watched The Muppet Christmas Carol recently, and they thought that was so fun. So I think they'll really enjoy reading this Christmas. And then when we get older, we'll read the original version and maybe try and find a literature guide to go along with it to really enhance it. That's it. Y'all, this is my final video for curriculum picks for next year. I can't believe I've kind of put everything together, and I almost have everything too. Like, there's just a few things that I need to get. I feel wholly prepared to have an amazing year next year. And then I'll also be doing a video here coming up soon more about what we're doing for summer schooling, because we year-round school. We'll take off like a full couple of weeks in July, but June into the beginning of July, we do kind of still do a little schooling, but it's super light. So I'll kind of tell you what we're doing for that in a video coming up. I'll also do some videos about like our timetable, how we're going to schedule all this, because it seems like a lot, but it's really, really not. It's pretty, we're probably gonna be doing maybe 2.5 hours of schooling every day, the way I've scheduled it out. So if you guys have any questions about anything I talked about in this video, leave them down in the comments. If you like the video, definitely give it a thumbs up. It helps us out. And if you are new to my channel, hit that subscribe button so you can see how all this amazing curriculum goes next year. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, y'all.